It's hard to look at the Suns and say, oh my God, you really blew this part of it, because they really were like one stop away from winning this game.
The Ringer NBA show presented by Heineken. The summer of can is here. Heineken believes you could twist any situation into something positive. You just need a fresh take. So here are some fresh takes from Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Waz, what's your fresh take on one Devin Booker?
Stop killing these guys after one bad game. Booker was horrible. Doesn't mean that he was a horrible player, or that he couldn't step up to the moment, or that he was shook. He had a bad game. He comes out in Game 4 and was one of the best finals performances I've ever seen, albeit in a loss. So my thing is, watch these guys from game to game. Great players are going to find a way to step up. Devin Booker did that tonight, and I think you're going to see that from other guys too.
Yeah, it's not like the Bucks went into their film session after Game 3 and said, oh, we can let up off Devin Booker, and that's why he dropped 42 on him. They were draped all over him, giving him all the respect in the world, because he can bounce back with that game, because great players can. That's why I don't think they can write off the idea that Chris Paul could come back with a game like that in Game 5, for example. Or on the Bucks side of it, that Drew Holiday could have a game like that. You can't give any guy an opportunity when the stakes are this big.
Drew Holiday, maybe not.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I have a fresh take. Drew Holiday, I think we have the book on him at this point. No pun intended. But get out there and find your own fresh takes. What a transition. Grab a pack of Heineken from your local retailer or have one delivered right to your door. Must be 21 years of age to purchase. Cheers, guys.
Ooh, cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Whoa.
What about the Suns? Are there any obvious adjustments that they could make, or is this really going to come down to CP figuring things out, or maybe, as Rob suggests, like playing through whatever injury, or getting, in soccer where they have that thing they spray on every injury, maybe needs like just a few of those cans and they'll be good.
I think defensively they're sound. They're getting, for the most part, the shots that you kind of want to give up. Like, you got to live with Connaughton taking contested threes, right? Like, you got to live with most of the, like, they didn't get crushed by Giannis in transition. He didn't just live in the paint against them today the way he did in Game 3. So I think they got, you turn Middleton into a long 2-point jump shooter. You're optimizing your defensive possessions when you're doing that. I think offensively, they got to figure out some ways to free Chris Paul up, because it's not going to, because he's their only on-ball guy that you can actually count on as far as creating a shot for himself in a one-on-one or a pick-and-roll situation. So they got to get a little bit more creative about how they're going to free him up. But other than that, I think they're doing what they can.
They really have to do better in the possession game, because, I mean, let's look at the bottom lines for this one. The Bucks took 19 more shots from the field, and they took 10 more free throws in this game.
Lord have mercy.
So, I mean, when you get, one team gets 3 times as many offensive rebounds as the other and is winning the turnover battle, that's just not a sustainable formula. So I know you're playing undersized. You got to find some way to be a little more competitive on the glass. You got to find some way to protect the ball a little bit better. And that starts, as we've hit, with Chris Paul. Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I know this playoffs has been a Deandre Ayton love fest. Like, we brought up like with how he's the pride of the Bahamas so much that Buddy Hield is starting to get jealous. I do wonder if this is where his age is starting to show, and putting him into the box that he's been so successful at, playing off of Chris Paul, doing the dirty work, rolling very hard to the rim, all that stuff. I do wonder if he did have more of a step out game, if he were able to shoot those mid-range jumpers that sometimes get him into trouble because he falls in love with them. If he did have a 3-point shot, I wonder if he had something else to throw out there. And I guess this includes other guys like Bridges and Crowder too. Like, if they could do anything else and create a little bit more, it seems like that's what they need. No, am I wrong?
Well, I do feel like you got that game from Cam Johnson. Like, he had that kind of game.
Yes.
But it's hard to look at the Suns and say, oh my God, you really blew this part of it, because they really were like one stop away from winning this game.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Ayton is playing like his age, right? Like, he doesn't have that sophisticated of a game right now. He doesn't have counters, et cetera, but he's optimizing all of his actual tools. He's catching every ball when they throw it to him, like when Giannis isn't blocking it, but when he caught the ball one time, he was sandwiched in between the two defenders. He grabs it and just softly lays it in. That's a very tough pass to make. That's a tough catch. That's a tough finish. When the opportunities are presenting themselves, he's doing what he has to do. Yes, it would be very helpful if he could step out to three and knock down a few, open threes. But I think right now you can't say he's anything but a plus for what they're doing, specifically as it pertains to guarding Giannis and just the paint, just being a deterrent, just generally in the paint. You got to love what he's bringing to the table.
Yeah, he's awesome at being huge, which is overly simplistic, I know, but there are a lot of big men. You can't say that about it. Also, if the Suns
have
had
you
a
ever
second
seen
one of
Jahlil Okafor try to play defense?
You mean the pride of Team Nigeria?
Yeah. Right.